Hey guys, it's Michael. I'm here to give you a little tour of what's coming up for Think Crew. This is a preview of just layout and features for what will eventually become Think Crew Tools. And the first module that will be in Think Crew Tools is Schedule, which will allow you to schedule your film. So the things that are in this are just the look of the entire site, some of the menus work, and then it'll give examples of features, but what isn't here is the actual features themselves. So they won't actually work as you sort of use the site. All the data is flat. It's not actually real data. It's just typed into the web pages to make it look like there's data. So let me get the sort of easy and boring stuff out of the way first. This is a distinct site from the Think Crew store site, which is a separate website. So you'll be able to you'll have a profile for yourself. All your different settings and stuff are all in here. You'll be able to change your picture if you want, and upload a little about me, and you can see how many people are following you and all the usual stuff. There is a function so you'll be able to send messages to other people who are currently using Think Crew tools. And you can sort of check that out. And then the first thing you would do when you got onto the Think Crew Tools site is you create a project for yourself. So that's the name of your movie, that's your show. So you would create a new project, and you can just sort of type in, and then click create. And of course, this won't do anything because it's not actually live yet. The sample project that I have in here is It's a Wonderful Life, which is sort of tradition in to use It's a Wonderful Life as the example movie. And you would be able to switch which your active project is, so that everything that I'm doing in here would be for It's a Wonderful Life, but I switched to Casablanca, then everything that I would do on the website would be for Casablanca, and so forth. Then you can have users. You can invite people to your project so that they can either view or edit the projects. So in this project, a number of people have been invited. You can actually click on each person and then set whether they're allowed to view or edit or both this project. You can see which other projects they're also currently members of. You can invite more users by just typing in their email addresses right here. And then for the schedule itself, you will create schedules. And think of each schedule as like a file. So if you were to use something like Movie Magic, each file that you have for your schedule, like you're saving different versions of that file maybe, is a different schedule here. So these are the different schedules. You create a new schedule, you can duplicate it, you can export it, PDF it, do all sorts of great stuff. And then of course open it, and this is where the real fun begins. This is the layout of what the schedule module will look like, and some of this actually works in a small way just to demonstrate exactly what the features will be. First, you can see that the layout is it's both a breakdown and a strip board side by side, so that you can actually see both of these things. You don't need to go open one and position the windows and mess with all that stuff. It's just open. And of course, you can move these you want for each one of these. You can sort of make your own decision as to how big you want each one of those sides to be. And you'll notice up here there are some tabs. So on the breakdown side, you can actually see the recycle bin, which is, if you were using Movie Magic, is called the boneyard. And that way you can actually see and have your strip board open and see side by side what's in your recycle bin. And on this side, you can actually have the script open. So here's the actual script for the movie. And there are two important features here. One is that it will be able to highlight all of the common nouns, which will make it easier for you to spot where elements might be in the script. So this is an example of it having highlighted anything that's a proper noun in just the action. You would ignore dialogue because that gets too confusing, but just gives you a general sense of where to put your eye. And then the other thing is that when you double click on anything in here, it will become an element which can be applied over here to the breakdown. And this is not working yet, but you get the idea that if you double click on snow, it will bring up a dialog that then says what categories this go into. In that case, it go into effects. You just say effects, and then it automatically would appear over here, and it would become a permanent element that you could use in other breakdown sheets as well. So of course, these strips are here, and you know, just move them anywhere that you want to. You notice the strips actually move out of the way of the other strips. You can sort of get a sense of like they're live here, and you can sort of move them around, and the other strips get out of the way, as opposed to something like either Movie Magic or Synchronize, where they just have a line across the screen showing you where things are going to land. These actually animate the actual moving of the strips, so you can actually see them. And of course, you can select more than one strip by just clicking and dragging on it. So you can select multiple strips, move those around, get a sense of how that works. And the other big feature for the strips is that you'll be able to group them together. So one of the things that can be frustrating in strips is that some strips need to be together. They're in the same location. They, for some reason, you have to shoot these things all together, and they can even be this little green bar right here. That's because when the program is working, you will have clicked group when you've selected a group of strips, and it will group them together. So now these are actually a group. So you just click on any one of them right here, and it selects all of them, and you can just move that together as a group and never have to worry about splitting up scenes that shouldn't be split up. Of course, you can scroll. You can see multiple days here. Things that obviously will work, which doesn't right now, is it doesn't do the page counts. It's not actually counting up the actual hours if you were to use the hours and minutes over here. And as far as the breakdown, so the main feature over here, should give you, it's fairly familiar. All the various tools generally have this look. The main difference here is that we're going to have one elements box, as opposed to like having to click on cast, and then you have to type in all your cast, and then go to the next category in background, and here I'm going to type in all my background performers. This is just one box for everything. So when this is working, it will do what's called fuzzy sorting in real time as an autocomplete. So when you type in, Mr. Potter, when you get that far, Mr. Potter will actually show up as an autocomplete right here. And all you need to do is hit enter, and Mr. Potter will go right where it needs to go. And the same thing for background performance vehicles. You can just keep typing in this box over and over again, and just hitting enter, and it will each one of these items will just appear down here in its various category where it belongs. So that is something that is going to be pretty exciting. The menus over here on the left-hand side, so you have a full element manager. The main difference here is you can actually click and drag these guys around. You don't have to do up, 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 down, down, down with arrows or anything. And of course, you can select multiples and drag those around if you want, and just drop them wherever you think they should go. Obviously, you can renumber. This is split, as a lot of things are on this site, will be split into a left and right pane. So on the left-hand side here is a list, and then on the right-hand side is when you've selected on one of these items. In this case, George. On the right-hand side here will be all the details for the thing you just selected on the left. So you'll be able to put a picture up for that actor, obviously the character name, the number, all the usual switches here for stripboard and stuff. Linked elements will be much like the elements field here, and then you'll just be able to type in things that you want. So let's say, I want to type in Zuzu's Petals. You just hit Z. Well, Zuzu Petals is the first thing to come up. Just hit enter, and it's right there. If I wanted Mr. Potter, there you go. Now I've got Mr. Potter, and these are linked elements now to that element. You don't have to go set anchor elements. You don't have to mess with any of that stuff. If you need something to be linked to this element, just type it in, and it's linked. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Blackout dates, a much cleaner interface than what you might be used to in other programs. This, you just click the blackout dates. It's easy. You just, the actor's unavailable on these days. Great. Now you clicked him, he's unavailable on those days. Nothing else to do there. It's easy. And of course, you'll be able to change the category. So let's say the character of George was suddenly going to be a background performer because they dropped all of his lines out. You'll just be able to select background and then save it, and then all of the times that he appears in all the breakdown sheets, it's just the category that's changed. You don't have to go through and redo everything as a background performer. It's all just moves straight on over. Also, there is a strip board manager, which just allows you to manage how many strip boards you have. Calendar manager, which manages all the various dates on your calendars, much the same way you can just select all your days off. This will be somewhat more enhanced. We'll be able to select entire days of the week that you take off. So there's more coming here. You can set your beginning of your date of principal photography. You'll be able to sort your strips, obviously. Check that out. The auto schedule will actually go further than what the Movie Magic auto schedule is. It will actually allow you to, or it's not just sort by scenes and locations, but it'll actually attempt to try to group things together like actors or things that need to be to stay together. So watch for that to be a little bit bigger. You'll be able to export your data, you'll be able to save your documents, and then of course you'll be able to save all of your, you'll have schedule settings here, so you can make changes to things like you can change the font for strip board. You actually see it in real time, sort of moving around right there. Change the size of your breakdown elements. This gives you the option to really customize everything here, so that you're not just stuck with one font size for everything. You have your full categories list, and of course it is sortable just by dragging. Day-to-day settings, this is all pretty standard, including interpreted text, so things like typing in bracket show or bracket today will actually come up as dates or show names. Strip colors will be shareable, so if you come up with a really cool particular set of shades for all your strip colors, you actually will be able to make it public, and other people will be able to use it as well and sort of give it to your friends. And the killer here, this is the real thing that I think is really going to be exciting, is that the Day Out of Days is not a second-class citizen. The Day Out of Days actually is a live element to this site. So that, and you have to use your imagination here a little bit, but as each one of these strips is moving around, the actual days on the Day Out of Days will actually matriculate into place as you make these changes. So no more having to go back and do file, view, and then bring up the Day Out of Days to go see what your changes were. You can actually see them in real time. And of course, wouldn't it be great if you could actually take that a step further and actually move your Day Out of days around themselves? So imagine this. Imagine just being able to grab days. Let's say that I want this guy to finish a little bit earlier. I can swap these out until I hit a place where he's got a hold and actually shorten his days. And the strips will automatically update as well, so you'll be able to see that in real time as well. So yeah, imagine being able to grab days and just flop them around here and actually affect the data in your actual schedule from the Day Out of Days. Also coming in when it actually works will be expanded dates, so that your Day Out of Days doesn't need to be the exact same length as your actual schedule. You could have the Day Out of Days start a week before or end a week after, so you could actually schedule travel and rehearsals and anything else, because you're probably creating production reports for those days anyway. Why aren't they on the Day Out of Days? So all of these things are coming, and I encourage you to check out the site. You can't break anything. There's no data here, so don't worry about messing anything up. Just go ahead and attack. And I absolutely love to hear your ideas. What do you think? Do you have new ideas? Is there something here that isn't working right that you wish would, within the bounds of it doesn't actually work yet? So check it out and enjoy. And I look forward to hearing what you have to say.